All right, so this one's for you, Sagittarius. Okay, that's you over here. This is Tarot Lumination with your love and relationship report for November 2017. Okay, we're going to work on the understanding that there's you, there's a chosen one, and then there's the relationship itself. Three separate entities. Each has its own energy, okay? And in a healthy relationship, you conduct everything through the relationship for the benefits of the relationship, to invest in the relationship. Because if you think of the relationship as a crucible, a structure in which you can build and invest, in which the ups and downs of relationships can occur safely when we intimate, when we separate. Intimate and separate. We intimate and we separate. Okay, cards are already well shuffled in advance. You know the drill. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Reinterpret as you want. Turn it into your own story. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. Sorry, just keeping it as simple as we can, all right? Okay, here we go. Sagittarius, this one's for you. We're gonna cut now. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna do a really extreme cut this time, just to break up the cards properly. This would be you and your energy. This would be significant other, chosen one. This would be deep inside of you, Sagittarius, deep inside the other. This would be the relationship itself. So you can already see the bowl here, the crucible shape. This is the structure in which the relationship exists, okay? And a really healthy relationship. The crucible is very strong and both parties invest in the crucible. Here we have like the momentum of where are things going, and under here we're going to look at circumstances. Let's call it the weather. And like all circumstances, you make the best of it. Okay, Sagittarius? And that's what you're good at doing anyway. All right, you've got the world. So I have a feeling this showed up in another report. Anyway, it can indicate that everything is exactly as it should be, how it ever was and ever will be. It's just that we're dealing with kind of like an epoch, an era, a big chapter in life. It might not be like sudden, but it's like an awareness that Sagittarius Life Mark 1 is completed now, and we're moving on into Sagittarius New Life Mark 2. It's still you, Sagittarius, perhaps the same significant other, but circumstances have changed. Everything has changed, you know? So, but we just continue. We just continue anyway. We're not going to let the whole notion that a whole new life is unfolding in front of you as one life starts to fade away. That's not going to disturb you. You're just going to live with it, accept it and live it and make the best of it. That's what you do anyway. Again, Sagittarius, you're very much about the energy of opportunity. Let's have a look. Okay. Queen of Swords here. Some people call this a divorce card. My feeling is that this is you, Sagittarius, making the decision to no longer put up with any of the BS that you might have ever tolerated or put up before in your life, in your world, or anything at all, because you probably have learned the hard way, perhaps through long-term experience, that without really good, solid, simple, straightforward truth, honesty, clarity of words, thought, intentions, and speech, it's really hard to have a healthy relationship. For example, if it's always conducted with a tone of argument, or if there's always a tone of secrecy, or there's a tone of, where the words are tainted in terms of communication in a relationship, that's not good. The healthy way to relate is to let the tone and the words speak the truth. In other words, it's okay to want to call somebody out. If you, Sagittarius, are thinking, you know what? I'm not willing to put up with your BS, but that doesn't mean there's going to be a divorce. It just, or that there's any malice here. The Queen of Swords really has no malice. She just does not like BS. And so it would be in the interest of a healthy relationship from you, Sagittarius, to say, I'm going to call it out if I have to. I'm going to call it out because I'm invested in the love, I'm invested in the relationship, and I don't want our standards or qualities or any of that to be lowered or to fall below where they need to be. So I'm actually kind of proud for you, Sagittarius, coming in with that. Okay? You see also the welcoming here, the welcoming of truth. You see here, the welcoming of the truth. Bring on the truth, but please, please walk away if there's BS. We don't need any BS here. It's so much more simple to live in truth and honesty. Instead of ambiguity or what if that, or what are you trying to say, or what are you trying to hide, or what have you hidden that needs to be expressed, all of those kind of shadow aspects of relating. No, this is like full light of day. We're going to deal with it. Let's have a look at a significant other. Okay, well, let's just look at the concept of like craftsmanship here. The whole idea of like you, Sagittarius, might be relating with someone who is like perhaps in their own way very gifted, and they're starting to come into their own now. And you're noticing that, and you're trying to protect yourself and the relationship and your significant other from, let's just say, slipping up. Because like, this is a team card here, okay? It's also an understanding that you Sagittarius over here are, let's just say, realizing and recognizing the gifts, the deeper values and gifts that exist in a significant other that might not have been noticed before, or they might have been noticed, but they've never had a chance to be expressed. But now they're having a chance to be expressed. And you, Sagittarius, you get it. You see that in the significant other, and they are happy that you see that in them, and that you, Sagittarius, are not going to allow any, let's say, slips in quality control. No, 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 no. Just the opposite. It's more like you, Sagittarius, are determined to bring out the best in a significant other, because you know it's there and it's coming into blossom, it's coming into surface, and it does require the energy of mutual appreciation. In other words, you might be dealing with a significant other, Sagittarius, who might have doubts to some level about their abilities and value to the world outside and to other people and to yourself. And yet they're still ready to invest and do the work, but it's early days and they need that support. They need that clarity of mind, because sometimes people, we have the best of intentions, and you, Sagittarius, might be almost like a BS meter who's looking out for your significant other so that they can rise and rise and rise into their craft and their skill to the point where they deserve, okay? So they can be truly appreciated by others, valued by others, and let's say, like almost like show off their craft and skills, so to speak, in their own life, their own world. And that could be very, very satisfying in the context of a relationship. And we don't know what's going on in the depths at the moment, but let's just say, I mean, these are two very, very different energies, but they can be very mutually supportive, especially Sagittarius, if you're with someone who needs a little bit of, confidence boosting every now and again, reassurance that they are of value, they are loved, like you love them, and they get it, and that keeps them, it keeps the kind of keeps the home fires burning, let's put it that way. Let's have a look deeper inside of you, Sagittarius. Okay, now with this card has been coming up so much in so many readings recently, sorry. And with the Four of Cups here, my feeling is that it's a lot of it is to do with the attitude of gratitude and the understanding about how that really works. Because you see here, if you look at the imagery, please remember, in terms of physics, energy flows where attention goes. So if you're focusing all your attention on, let's say, what could have been or what was, or things that, opportunities that were missed, remember, these are prevailing conditions right now where you might have had a long-term investment relationship with yourself, Sagittarius, and a significant other, where it's very apparent that one big chapter or one whole epic epoch is over as a new one is starting to have a chance to unfold. And so there might be a little bit of sentiment here where you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I wish we could have figured out what we know now back then. Just think about how awesome things could be or would have been, or it's like the energy of coulda, woulda, shoulda, or if only this, if only that, if only that. And so you might be harboring some of that inside of you, Sagittarius, like, gosh, it's taken us so long to get to the point where we're really starting to come into our own as a couple. I know the cards look very disparate here because in a traditional approach reading, it might not, the story might not unfold the way it's being told through Tarot Illumination right now. But what I'm sensing here is just like the love is there, it's no question. It's just that when you have like a long-term history in a relationship and you start to see the sands of time go by, like those hourglass things. If you look at the little cup here, like a little hourglass, after a while in a long-term relationship, you understand the energy of time, time. And that you start to realize, oh my gosh, so you can notice the sweet things that have happened, but you can also see the regrets of things that could have been like, so you might be starting a new big chapter in life, but you're also aware that there's a ticking clock going on in the background. Like, wow, we have to make the best of what we've got left with us, dear heart, sweetheart, all of that kind of energy, because the love is there, but there could be that sense of sentiment like, oh gosh, it's just, you don't want to waste this. And so in order to get out of the funk of like, woe is me, in other words, if there's a little bit of lack of coziness here while you're starting this new chapter, this new like era in your life with a significant other, Sagittarius, it could be important to realize that there's no point in dwelling on the past or worrying about what could have been. It's really, really, really important to focus on what's going to be and what's coming to you and the opportunities that are at hand on unfolding in this new life to be determined. Okay? And that's all out there in the so-called future. So in other words, again, back to the attitude of gratitude, focusing on the love. Focus on the love. Focus on what you've got. You might have more lines. You might have more wrinkles. You might have a little bit more weight. You might have taken on more depth than you wanted to. You might have wasted time doing this and wasted energy doing that, and you're a little bit burned out here, a bit worn out there. But the love is still there. It's just a question of remembering that and focusing on that, okay? Because it looks good as far as I'm concerned, okay? That's how I'm feeling it, all right, Sagittarius? I don't feel like the pictorial traditional images that you could connect here. I'm not feeling that for you. I'm feeling what I told you. Over here, let's have a look at the significant other. Okay, with the way things are unfolding, my feeling is that with the tower deep down here, this is like ongoing. My feeling is that you, Sag, are dealing with a significant other who's had to go through a lot of, let's say, turmoil, turbulence, upheaval, disruption. And in some ways, it's still going on because of my feeling the big changes that are happening for you, Sagittarius. But I'm just going to do a doodle here. I actually did it before the reading. And no, I haven't shown this to anybody yet, and I haven't done it for all the readings, but I wanted you to see this. So Sagittarius, Saturn is moving into Capricorn, okay, over here at the end of the year for about a 3-year period. 3 years, Saturn is going to be in Capricorn. But luckily for you, Saturn is leaving your sign where it's been for almost 3 years, 2.5 or whatever, 3 years. So you're probably going to feel a really big shift in energy as this happens. And that's going to affect the relationship too. And it's just that you, Sagittarius, this energy feels like time, because once wherever Saturn moves, you're going to feel the energy of time, okay? But there's going to be all this deep soul healing too, okay, because Jupiter is moving into Scorpio. It's already just there. It's already just started, and you got it for about another year towards the end of 2018. So like spiritual healing, spiritual awareness happening, spiritual things that needed to be healed coming into being healed. Okay, so that's good news for you. but you just might be dealing with a significant other. That's the point I was trying to get here, is dealing with a significant other who's going through big changes that are really not you or yours, Sagittarius. It's their energy, but of course it affects you because you're in a relationship. This is a significant relationship here. So in the context of a crucible with a really strong, loving relationship, where the obvious readings for these cards are not being expressed, but the more, let's say, high vibration frequencies are being expressed, it allows a very highly valued, significant other to live through cataclysmic events which might normally crush a relationship or a partner. And you, Sagittarius, are, my feeling is that by your benevolence and by your abilities to see gifts in your significant other and protecting them by calling out the truth and not allowing them to wallow in what could have been or what should have been or all the remorse of whatever was lost. They are living through their own, let's say, massive upheaval, and they're going to be, they might be in a work in progress in that regard, and it's still happening inside of them, but you're still there for them, Sagittarius. And I'm sure that they highly appreciate that, because there's always the energy of mutual appreciation here. They might not be saying it with poetry and roses, but they might be feeling it like, wow, I'm really glad I got you at my back, because I'm going through all of this and I don't know how I could handle it without you. Okay, so it sounds like a very, very bizarre way to describe actually a very, very loving situation. I hope you get it. I hope you're trying to see what I'm trying to get at here. It might not read this way for all Sages, but that's what I'm feeling it for this reading. So don't forget to watch for your sun, moon, and rising in case this doesn't make sense to you. All right, Sag? So let's look at the relationship itself. Okay, this is good. This is indication of courage. I feel like this is the willingness to face all odds, knowing that you will prevail. So to me, it feels like, Sag, you kind of already have an idea of what's going on, and you're more than happy to make this happen and bring forth your courage, your spirit, your fighting spirit, knowing that you're kind of in a prominent position where you can't be upended, you can't be defeated. Yeah, it's going to be work, relationships are work. It requires work. Relationships require maintenance. Okay, it might be, Sagittarius, that you are required to put in a lot of maintenance to take care of a loved one as they go through their stuff, and this could be continuous for some time, but it's worth it because the love is there. That's my feeling, on the understanding that a whole new era, a whole new chapter is unfolding for you guys some way or another. Yes, it might be challenging. It might take you to the limits of your ability to be a really good mate, a really good partner. And it could expose all sorts of things that, might be, very, very hard for your partner to handle. But you're doing it. And you're doing it, okay? This is you, Sagittarius, doing it for the benefits and the joys of the relationship, knowing that you will prevail. I'm just going to show you the image close up. So that's very noble. That's very classic Sagittarian energy anyway. Where does that take us? Let's have a look. Okay, new opportunities. That's good. So it's almost like somehow or other, Sagittarius, you are intuiting this. You somehow know this in your mind. And the way you've sensed it, it's like, with the swords energy here, it's the knowledge, the knowing, having the skills, the language, and the abilities, and not putting up with anything that would interfere with that. And my feeling is that by willing to stick with the long term, by being willing to be there for your mate, knowing that there's, some energies of regrets and sadness, but it's shared, okay? And I think your significant other is aware of that too, but they're not going to let that stop them. And you, Sagittarius, are not going to let this stop you from being your noble, righteous self, okay? In which case, by making the decision through this little time period that we call November to hold on and make the best of the situation, to make it work, doing whatever you have to do, especially by maintaining truth and honesty in the relationship as a way of being very supportive for your mate. It brings in the opportunity to, let's say, go to a higher level of truth, which works for both of you in a relationship here. Now, I just don't want to go back to that, traditional description of the card. All I want to say here with the Ace of Swords is that it's about new starts, new opportunities. It's a sacred opportunity. It's almost like you're building this for yourself. Opportunity is like a gift from heaven. It's there for those who deserve it, and it's landing in your life, in your lap right now. So it is here, and you grab it. But again, you understand that, Sagittarius, because you are like the sign of opportunity, and like seeing it and grabbing it and going for it and making the best of it. So it feels to me like you somehow or other understand this. You might not be able to put it in words that have been, used here in Tarot Illumination, but there's a gist here, a kind of a drift to it that kind of makes sense to you, so that you can see how the Ace of Swords is actually like the opening, let's say, episode of Sagittarius season 2. Bam-o! Like new levels of truth, new levels of integrity, more increased standards of quality in terms of how the relationship is conducted between yourself and the other and yourself, so that like the next season, the next chapter can unfold in a way that's better than ever before. But you see that. I don't think you're going to throw this away or let it go. I think you understand, Sagittarius, the energy of opportunity. It's literally like a gift from heaven. You don't have to take it, but it's almost like insulting your angels if you don't take it. So I think you get it. I think you're going to see the opportunity about how these big shifts and changes are going to work for you, Sagittarius, in such a way that works for a significant other, no matter how difficult it might be for your significant other right now. You're going to find a way to make it work because you see the future here. You see a whole new thing starting again, just the way it should be. And my feeling is that in its own bizarre, strange way, there's a lot of this going on with you right now, Sagittarius. A lot of this, okay? So let's make the best of it. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. You know that. Reinterpret as you need to. Thank you for choosing Tarot Illumination. Have a super, super November season, as they call it. All right. Bye-bye.